Welcome to the Lend Me Your Ears podcast, where we explore practical, real-world solutions to everyday sales challenges. Today's conversation is inspired by one of the standout articles from lendmeyourears.co.ke, titled, Learning from Best Practice to Improve Sales, Street Smart Selling. And trust me, these stories, they're the kind you wish you heard sooner.
Let's kick things off with a fundamental truth. Sometimes, the solution to turning around your sales fortunes is sitting right beneath your nose. Not in a fancy manual, not in a masterclass, but right there in the everyday practices of people succeeding around you. But, and this is important, learning from best practice isn't about blindly copying what someone else is doing. It's about understanding the principle behind their success and adapting it to your own context. Not more effort, better approach.
All right, let's start with the tea story. Honestly, one of the most vivid and clever examples in the entire article. So picture this, Mount Kenya region, dawn, it's cold. Freezing cold. Farmers are heading to the cattle dip, shivering, minding their business.
And this salesman shows up wearing a branded apron, serving hot, steaming samples of his tea. I mean, come on, that's genius. At 6 a.m. in the cold, you're taking that cup.
And that's exactly the point. He knew his tea was better than the competition. He didn't need more marketing. He needed farmers to taste it.
Now here's where it gets even better. A colleague of his, selling in Western Kenya, sees this and thinks, great idea, but cattle dips? Not our thing.
Totally different culture. But what is big in Western Kenya? Matangas, funerals.
So what does he do? He parks his branded van at matangas, serves free tea, politely asks if he can say a few words, and connects with people right where they are.
And just like that, boom, sales turnaround. Not because he copied the exact tactic, but because he borrowed the idea and contextualized it.
That's the heart of best practice. Observe, adjust, apply.
Let's move into the everyday consumer market, the world of products people buy often, specifically hair relaxers and treatments. We meet a sales lady who's done everything the textbook says: glossy brochures, influencer reviews, merchandisers filling shelves. But sales? Nothing. Completely stagnant.
And she's frustrated, rightfully so. So she reaches out to someone who's consistently outperforming the whole team. And this colleague tells her, very directly, stop selling to the women walking past the shelves. Sell to the people they trust. They're salonists.
The truth is so obvious that it almost hurts. In beauty, trust sits in the stylist's hands.
So she changes her strategy. For 2 weeks, she visits salons, hands out free kits, trains stylists, and offers a small incentive per pack sold.
And suddenly, sales explode. Because when your salonist says, this product is good, that carries way more weight than a billboard or a glossy brochure.
She didn't increase her workload. She simply moved her effort to the right place.
Now, this last story is one of those that hits you emotionally. It's about Kenyan university students preparing to host visitors from Sweden. The previous year, the Kenyans visited Sweden and saw first-world efficiency everywhere. Clean systems, smooth transport, everything automated. Impressive stuff.
So now the Swedes are coming to Nairobi, and the Kenyan students are intimidated. What do we show them? What do we have that compares?
Their lecturer steps in with a game-changing line. Don't think product, think experience. And suddenly the whole thing shifts. They craft an itinerary around authentic Kenyan living. M-Pesa, riding in a matatu, eating in a kibanda, enjoying nyama choma, and even visiting political landmarks like Parliament, where the June 25th, 2024 events unfolded.
What they wanted was interaction, engagement, breaking stereotypes. And the funny twist, the game park, the thing visitors usually rave about, wasn't what the Swedes loved most.
What stayed with them were the raw, genuine experiences. So much so that whenever anyone mentions Kenya or the BBC documentary on Gen Z protests, they proudly say, "We were there."
That's sales, not the product. The feeling, the memory, the story people want to tell later.
So, what threads these stories together?
That sales success doesn't always come from doing more. Often, it comes from doing different.
The tea story, the salon strategy, the Kenyan cultural experience. They all highlight one thing. The smartest salespeople aren't the loudest, they're the most observant.
They look at what's already working, they learn from others, and they adapt those insights to their context. That's how sales fortunes change, not by guessing, but by learning from best practice.
Thank you for joining us on the Lend Me Your Ears podcast. Today's episode was inspired by real, grounded sales wisdom from lendmeyourears.co.ke.
If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to subscribe. We have more field-tested insights coming your way.
Until next time, stay sharp, stay observant, and as always, keep selling wisely.